What up, everybody? You are listening to the ESPN Prod Pod. This is the podcast that goes behind the scenes on the content you love, the people that create it, and everything in between. I'm John McLeod. Always got to give a shout out to my producer, Kiki. She's absolutely amazing and got to show her love every single time I get a chance. Today, we have the honor and the privilege of talking to the queen herself. She helped get ESPN here when we talk about social media. And no, I will not let her take any other title. Katie Daly. How are you, Katie? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was an incredible intro. I'm beaming here on video because your energy is unmatched. So thank you for the lovely intro.
No, it's deserved. And what we like to do on the Prod Pod is show people amazing love. And the reason why I am like incredibly excited to talk to you today because you help run an aspect of the ESPN world that's so incredibly important. And it's so incredibly powerful. Linear is fantastic. It is what got us here. But the future is now and is here, and it's social media. But before we go any further, I want to get some deeper into you. You are the VP of social media. What does that entail, and what does your day-to-day look like?
Yeah, so at a high level, I have the great privilege of overseeing a team that's responsible for creating content, finding content, and distributing content across 25 different ESPN brands and 5 different social platforms. So we're talking about Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook. When you see ESPN social content in those environments, chances are it comes from the team that I have the great privilege to lead. So that's the high level. You asked about the day-to-day. And the thing I love most about my job is that it is very different day to day. So one day in one meeting, I could be talking to a partner platform about potentially developing a new show with them, right? Something that they would license from us and pay to have air on their platform. The next meeting I jump into could be a lot more serious. It could be about editorial coverage and how we're thinking of approaching the NCAA swimming championships this week, where we have a really prominent swimmer in Leah Thomas who identifies as transgender, and how do we approach that responsibly from a coverage perspective? And then we could go into a more marketing conversation, right? Talking about women's Final Four and the new brand campaign for ESPNW, hashtag That's a W. How do we bring That's a W to life on social platforms? So every day and almost every 30-minute Zoom of the day is a little bit different. And I think that's what makes the role fun. It makes the role certainly challenging, but no day is the same.
Oh man, I can imagine that your every 30-minute block that is put on your calendar, the level of importance that it holds. Where we are now is one thing. One of the top brands when it comes to sports media, especially on social, crushing it on every different platform. That you didn't always start off that way. Can you take us back? Because you are one of the pioneers that got us here today. That's why this interview, folks, this is why this was so amazing, it's so intriguing to me, and I'm so excited because she helped build what you think is amazing today. She helped build it. Katie did that. Take us back to day one. How was that like?
Yeah, it was. So back then, I would say it was the wild, wild west, right? Like anyone who wanted to would just start a social account. And the KPIs for doing that ranged from, I just want to be on Twitter because it's cool, to I actually want to drive traffic to this article I wrote, right? In the case of talent, to, hey, I work in marketing and I want to get the brand out there. So let's start an account. So I would say that in the early days, what was lacking was a centralized strategy and approach. And with all new environments, I think some of that is okay. Like it's great to test and learn. And those early days, we were figuring out what is our identity on these social platforms. So I started as one of two people that was building out and programming SportsCenter social. And so at the time, we were 24/7. Like I would work all day, break for dinner, then go back online because we were two people and SportsCenter was around the clock. Like there was always a SportsCenter on back then. And we were trying to be a little bit more reflective of the show content and while also elevating breaking news, right? We felt that particularly on a platform like Twitter, which was newer back then. I'm dating myself here, but that was what a lot of people were going to Twitter for, was like, let's get breaking news. And so SportsCenter's identity early on was very much a reflection of the show and breaking news. As things evolved, and by the way, we could go like a full hour just on this question, so I'll try to condense it. As things evolved, we were able to create separate and distinct identities and purposes for these platforms, but the platforms themselves evolved. So early on, we were talking like text. I was doing the literal RT, like writing RT, like the retweet button didn't exist. Okay. So like a lot has changed and it's mostly now about rich media, right? It's photo and video content. So our team had to change over the years and we had to become a team that was better at creating content bespoke to the social environment and less about like, we're just a distribution funnel that we're just going to, push out. My team knows I hate the term push out. We're just going to push out content that was created for all of these other areas. And the way I like to phrase it to someone who comes from maybe more of a traditional production background is we went from being very much like a support team where we would chip in and take things that had happened on TV and share them socially to we are now producing our own shows virtually 24/7 on all these different platforms. There's a constant rundown, right? Where we're finding user generated content, creating a quote graphic, creating video. I said it wasn't going to be lengthy. Here I am being lengthy, but
no, please continue.
It's evolved a lot. And those early days were stressful because there were so few people focused on it. And we were finding our identity. But the new challenge now, and I think the stress now, is that so many want to see their content represented on social channels. And right now we're posting 300 things a day. So when you think about the crazy amount of content, amazing content that ESPN produces, but we can share 300 posts a day right now, like you have to make some choices. You have to make some priorities or prioritize rather. And for us, it comes down to fans. And that's been our focus really since day one. It's been like, what do fans want? What are they telling us through their engagement with our content that they want?
You mentioned the 300 posts per day. That seems absolutely insane. I don't know anything, not much as a person, anything on the planet that does that at that level every single day. 2,100 posts per week.
Look at you doing that, crushing the numbers. I have a bigger number. So okay. This is what drives us. So every day we're generating 430 million impressions. So that means like the content is going in front of that many feeds, right? That many eyeballs. And we're getting 13 million engagements. The 13 million engagements is what our team in a single day. That's what our team is so proud of, because not only do we have the reach, because you could say like, well, you're ESPN, people associate with you with sports, so they're going to follow you. No, when our content is like reaching those feeds, it is being engaged with. Like people are clicking, they're commenting, they're double tapping, sharing with their friends. And that just means our relevance and our reach. Those are, our team talks about these R words a lot, and relevance and reach are two of them. To us, that's reaffirming, right, that we're doing something right, and we're maintaining that relevance with a generation that consumes content differently.
I love that, because it goes into my next question now. Maintaining all of these platforms takes a lot of effort and focus. Can you talk about the values that you have for each platform and what your North Star is going, what is your focus for each of them? Because people interact with them differently.
I'll start with TikTok because that's where we've seen the most rapid growth. We are, by the time this goes out to people, we'll be over 23 million followers on the ESPN account alone. And our approach there is very fan-centric. So we're doing a lot of user-generated content that, frankly, that audience wants to see on their For You page. They're looking to be there to be a little bit more brain off. They're a more casual sports fan. And we're giving them that entertainment. When we do highlights, we're focusing a little bit more on some of the fun off-field or off-court moments, because we're seeing, again, like that is where fans are really finding interest. The core like dunk. If you've seen a great dunk, and apologies to Ja Morant, because that's an exception, the dunk this year, but most dunks, like you've seen one, you've seen them all. Mm-hmm. And there's really only so much we can do on a platform like TikTok to dress it up. But we can have a lot of fun with players like dancing on the sidelines after a really big bucket, and mm-hmm. editing that and layering in music. Like we can really bring some personality. And so I would say TikTok is where you're going to see that type of content. Twitter, I touched on it in the early days. News is still a core part of Twitter's DNA. Mm-hmm. And we still want to deliver that. And we work with our ESPN talent as well to support them in their news breaking efforts, which includes, by the way, sending people back to article content in the ESPN app or in ESPN.com to get that full context. Because as we know with news, like there's always additional layers, there's always more information beyond the character limits on Twitter. So that is a core part of our approach on Twitter. Twitter is also where we generate a lot of revenue. We do a lot of sponsorship deals there on our highlights. So that's become something just over the last 5 years, we've grown a real business in the social space. Whereas early days, it was a little bit more, let's experiment, right? Let's try out some things. And then Instagram has changed since the early days of mm-hmm. posting there. But I would say currently we recognize that they have a huge emphasis on Reels. So we do follow suit when we recognize that a platform is promoting a particular content type over another. So we've been doing more Reels. I mentioned quote graphics earlier. I think we do a nice job of sharing not only resonant moments in sports, but then also for those who maybe are quick scrolling, don't have a lot of time, we're pulling out some of the top player commentary, reaction, that sort of thing for them to experience. And if you can't tell, I could just go for like days on this stuff. So you're going to have to interrupt.
I love it. No, I love it.
I'm like, how much time do we have, John?
This wealth of knowledge is a gold mine. So when people see this and they hear this, people are going to take notes because everybody wants to know how you all do it.
We have some secret sauce that we keep in house. Let's put it that way. But I do want to underscore that being able to look at our analytics, like we have really immediate access to our analytics, and that helps us understand what our fans are gravitating toward.
See, I love that data feedback strategy approach, because then you see what they like and you cook it up again. Before we get too far down this road, I want to go back some more. I heard through the grapevine that you used to be an athlete.
Yeah.
I heard that
I'm washed now. I'm washed now.
I heard you was crushing it. You were doing your thing. Take me back to, when you were an athlete. how that helped you develop to the person that you are today, and ultimately how it helped you get to ESPN.
Yeah, what a great question. I do like the glory days, so we can go back there. So I played a year of college hoops, D3, but we were competitive. We went to the Elite Eight my freshman year.
Oh wow.
And what's interesting is I broke my foot, and it was a stress fracture that was misdiagnosed. So I was playing on a broken foot for a while, and my foot got pretty bad. So I had to make a decision because I was supposed to play softball as well. And I had to make a decision, like, do I want to pivot from the sport that in basketball that has always meant the world to me and give it my all in softball next year because it was going to be a long recovery process? Do I want to stick it out with hoops? And I ultimately decided to become the play-by-play, and I would flip play-by-play and color commentator for men's and women's basketball. And I played softball the rest of my collegiate career. And doing the play-by-play and directing the webcasts is very much what got me to ESPN. Like, it helped build my resume. It helped open doors. I had tape. And so in some ways, I like to say, like, turn your setbacks into springboards. And that for me was that, right? It was like a very low moment but I decided to stick with hoops just in a different capacity. And it did ultimately open the door to ESPN. But in general, just being an athlete, like, you learn teamwork. And for me, like, there is no more applicable skill than being able to rely on others and operate together to achieve a common goal. So that's just been the biggest, like, core skill from my playing days.
Being a ball player, you understand and you see the metaphors throughout life, regardless of how far removed you may be. You know, like all right, I know if I throw the ball at an angle to this teammate and I give them the information they need, he or she is they're going to alley-oop, throw it to somebody. The consistency will come forever. Let me say this to you, Queen. Happy Women's History Month. I say that for two reasons. Reason number one is because you went through what you went through, so many women today can see a path where there was none. When we think about the impact that you had, I can't help but understanding and knowing that there are some ladies that impacted you. Can you give us the list of the most important ladies that have impacted you and why?
Absolutely. And thank you for continuing to be this amazing hype man. I'm like getting emotional over here. Yeah. So I think outside of work, certainly I've been influenced by my Nana, who's no longer with us, and my own mom. Both of them built careers in pretty traditionally male dominated fields and were just absolute bosses, like, just worked every hour they could to get better at their profession. And so I think about both of them often. And I still, to this day, I call my mom all the time on my drive home and have, like, sometimes event sessions, sometimes just to relate. She leads a large team, and we get to help lift each other up at the end of the day, which I love. So I have to start with those two personally. And then professionally, man, it's hard to have a list because there's so many trailblazers. But I will share with you that one of the highlights of my ESPN career was getting to meet Pat Summitt. Because talk about fierce. Like, she just, at a time when I didn't see a lot of women's sports on television, I didn't see a lot of women in lead coaching roles like Pat, to see her and just her passion for what she does and for leading others, that was really inspiring. And so I got to meet her, and I got to tell her that I wore a Tennessee, like a full Tennessee uni to UConn basketball camp, which you don't do at UConn basketball camp. So I was called out. I had to do push-ups in front of the whole camp. But she laughed, and like, so just making Pat Summitt laugh was highlight of my career. And then, yeah, I think about Doris Burke. I think about all the energy and love that Elle Duncan brings to her job every day and to this company, right?
Love Elle. Shout out to Elle.
Shout out to Elle, seriously. She's the best. But like there's just so many. I think Steph Julie doing like in her role, like seeing her in that leadership position. And then I can't overlook like the founder of ESPNW, who is my boss right now, Laura Gentili. Like, talk about the ultimate leader and just everything that she's done for women in sports, period. She like getting to work for her has been incredible. So I know I'm missing like 1,000,001 people, but that's what comes to mind off the top of my head.
Fantastic list. And those that you were not able to mention, they know you love them, and they know they've done amazing things for you and got you and helped you, get to where you were.
Of course. Now I think about Tina Thornton, who's been such a great mentor to me. Oh, sorry, Tina. Shout out to you.
Tina. Shout out to Tina. Look, one of the most important aspects of being a professional, even doing the show, for me, one of the most important things is not just knowing about the person's history, but also about life. And when I think about, I sat here before the show as we were preparing, and I thought, okay, she runs social media for a multi-billion-dollar company. She's an athlete. She's a mom, and she does this every day. How do you do it every day?
By a thread. That was the first thing that came to mind. By a thread.
That's all right.
Yeah, becoming a mom during the pandemic there were a lot of silver linings. There were a lot of challenges, but I think one of the biggest professional silver linings is that it has given me incredible perspective. So things at work that used to feel like 5-alarm fires, when I think about my daughter and her health, like they just seem small compared to her and the importance that she takes up in my life. So in many ways that it has made me a better leader, being a mom. And I also have to get things done during work hours in a way that I didn't used to. I'll just be totally candid. I used to, and I still do a little after she goes to sleep, but I used to not be as great about my time management during the day because I was like, I'll get to it in the evening. And now my evenings are fully dedicated to her, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But I have less patience for Zoom meetings that are not highly efficient. I'll put it that way. I'm like, listen, if we're going to have a 30-minute Zoom meeting, let's maximize all 30 minutes.
As you should.
But no, it's a juggling act. It's not, I do want women to know it is not impossible. You need a great support network. I am fortunate to have that in my husband and family that lives locally and in my team. Like, I think the greatest blessing has been leading a group of people that genuinely care about each other as human beings. And I know that my direct reports, like, they know every time Lake has an ear infection, that's my daughter, like they know about it. They're very willing to kind of pitch in. I think we all have each other's backs, and that's what a team, just to go back to the sports analogy, like that's what it takes to win. Like everybody's got to pitch in and has to care about one another.
Every championship team has the greatest relationship, and they dominate in the sections that they are supposed to dominate. When you have a team like what you're describing, where everyone plays a role, but everyone supports, when somebody has to sit on the bench for whatever reason, then you can do exponential and amazing things like your team is doing. Katie, I have 10 million other questions, but I have to be respectful for my producer, Kiki.
Now it's time for the Fab Five.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Okay, so what's the social media app that you use the most?
TikTok.
TikTok? Really? Do you do TikToks?
I don't create them for public consumption. but
Okay.
But I love TikTok.
What are the birth order of you and your siblings? And do you think that affects your personality?
Oh, I'm a total middle child. I have an older brother and a younger brother. And yeah, my whole life I've been told I have middle child syndrome. So
really?
It must be true.
I'm an only girl too, by the way, so I know the struggle. But I have 5 brothers, so.
Oh, okay. You're outnumbered.
I know. Can't win if I wanted to. Okay, next question. What kind of pets do you have, and how did you choose its name?
I have an amazing chocolate lab named Moose, and Moose got his name because he had these giant paws as a puppy, and we thought he was going to be big like a moose, and he's brown, and it turns out he's the tiniest male lab in the world. So everyone just thinks it's a joke that we named him Moose because he's not very moose-like.
He has moose energy. As long as you can give off
moose energy.
That's what it is. Yeah. What's your favorite way to spend a day off? Keep in mind that it is Women's History Month, and every woman this month deserves a good day off. So how do you spend yours?
I was just saying the other day that I dream of relaxing, maybe like a mani-pedi. I asked for my birthday to find a local gym and get like open court. I don't necessarily want to play pickup with a bunch of strangers yet, but I'm ready for like a shoot around. It's been too long since I've had a court. And so let's see if my husband pulls through for my birthday and can find a local court. That would be my dream, like mani-pedi and then like shoot around. And yeah.
That's great. Can I come? Can I be invited to that?
You can
I will
come.
be your ball girl.
You can come. John can come. Yeah, this is true. I need rebound. I don't know. I'm not going to be making too many shots. It's been a while.
Same here. So it's okay. That's why I decided to, pick up the balls on the floor, because that's where I'm going to put them if I start shooting. What is the best time to post on social media? Like time of day?
My answer is it depends on your brand. So in sports, a lot of times it's 11 p.m. to midnight Eastern, because you have games ending, there's a lot of excitement, and it depends on the season too. So sorry to give you not a straight answer, but it truly does depend. If you're if you're a news brand or you have news to share, like first thing in the morning, a lot of people are checking their phones first thing in the morning. And then engagement in terms of days of the week, we see a lot of engagement on Saturdays and Sundays, which kind of makes sense, right? Like more people are kind of out and about and checking their phones.
Okay, well, you made it through the Fab Five. Thank you for playing.
Thank you for being the point guard of the Fab Five segment. That was great. We're just gonna keep all the basketball analogies rolling. Like
I know.
Time. Let's just do it the whole time.
Shout out to Jim Jones, because we fly high.
Balling.
No lie. Balling.
You know this. I got it. I have
Let's
you.
go. Let's go. Katie Daly in the building.
Now that was a good rebound.
Thank you so much for listening to the ESPN Prime Pod. My name is John McLeod. For my producer, Kiki, the amazing. Thank you so much, Katie Daly, for shedding some light on social media and getting this going. Let me tell you something. If you're not educated on how to get better on social media with this podcast, I don't know how you're going to do it. My name is John McLeod. Make sure you go find the ESPN Pride Pod podcast wherever you find your podcast, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share on YouTube. Appreciate y'all.